When I look at my physique, I'm really proud of my traps. It's one of those body parts I put in a lot of time to develop, and it's worked out. The traps do such a good job of framing your physique. Whether you have a shirt on or off, it just gives you that big manly presence. It looks good. I used to be obsessed with bringing up my traps. I did a lot of work to build them up. If you ask the average bro what exercise he should do to grow traps, 99% of the time he's gonna say shrugs. And he would be right. Shrugs do grow your traps. I was that skinny bro, so when I wanted to grow my traps, I trained shrugs twice a week. The actual exercise you use does not really matter, I'll be honest with you, but I'll give you some recommendations. Barbell shrugs, dumbbell shrugs, machine shrugs, snatch grip shrugs, trap bar shrugs, the list goes on. Anything works, basically anything works, as long as you take something heavy and you just do this until it really hurts up here. I've experimented with loose form and super strict form. Generally, I like to do something kind of in the middle, a little bit of very little. I've seen a lot of talk on YouTube about how you should be doing your shrugs. Should you shrug forwards? Should you shrug backwards? Should you shrug sideways with your dick in your hand? To be honest, I don't really think it matters as long as you go all the way up and all the way down. Yeah, sure, experiment with different form, see if you have a preferred style, but I don't think this is gonna make or break your progress. Straps are going to be mandatory because we're here to work our traps, not our forearms. If you can get by without feeling your grip, that's great, but eventually once you get strong, chalk and straps are needed to feel locked in and actually give your back a good workout. One thing you can do to double your number of shrug exercises is the power shrug. This is basically when you use your legs to help assist the lift. A power shrug is beneficial because you use more weight and intensify the stretch on your traps. The stretch is really important when it comes to growing muscle, especially for the traps. That being said, I would wait until you have some basic experience with the normal shrug before you start cheating and using your legs. Truth be told, even if you do zero direct training for the traps, they will still grow from a variety of other stretch movements, deadlifts being one of them.
Says, Lou, what's your neck routine? What do you do for your neck? Deadlift. Fucking deadlift. I don't do anything. I don't do all this shit to work the fucking neck.
You should have at least one deadlift in your program. Even if you don't care about strength, it can be an RDL or whatever. Just hold something heavy in your hands and bend over. Holding heavy weight will put your traps under an intense stretch and it will grow them indirectly. Also, when you hinge forward, you're stretching your mid-traps. Farmer's walks are another great exercise which is notorious for growing the fuck out of your traps. I don't really do them so much because I'd rather focus on deadlifts, but they do work really well. If you really want to focus on that stretch, more than you could with farmer's walks or deadlifts, go with the old school Alpha Destiny rack pulls above the knee. You might bend a few bars, get some weird looks in the gym, but it will grow your traps, that's for sure. Probably only do this if you have a home gym with a crappy barbell because it will bend with all that weight. Just training your back normally will also grow the traps indirectly. Any rowing movement will work the mid and lower traps, as you can see here. You can see them contracting. I very often get sore in my mid traps after training back, sometimes even my upper traps. Whether you go in a machine or free weights, it all works, but you can get an enhanced effect, plus more gains overall, if you just allow your shoulders to come forward at the end. Doing this, you can actually feel your traps, rhomboids, rear delts stretch on every rep. I have a whole entire video on back training where I go into this in more depth. Check it out. Different pull-ups also work as well. Although they are mostly lats, they do hit your mid and upper traps to a small extent. There are many lifters in the gym that get big, juicy upper tracks without ever isolating them through shrugs. Just through deadlifts, rows, pull-ups, you can get very far. It's a very good idea to isolate your neck at some point in your lifting career. It just makes this whole area look better, which is what you want when you're trying to grow your traps anyways. Training your neck will indirectly grow your traps. I already have a video showing a basic outline of neck training. It's got some good info. When I was focused on bringing up my traps, I trained shrugs twice a week, typically on an upper body day in the 10 to 15 rep range. So maybe Monday's snatch grip, Thursday's trap bar. I worked with a certain weight until I was able to do 3 sets of 15, and then I upped it by 5 or 10 pounds and repeated. Strict shrugs are great, and I'm tempted to present a binary, either super strict or power style. But that's not how I grew my traps. When I was doing my shrugs, I used a little bit of cheating, and it worked. I got bigger. But don't let it get out of hand. If you feel like you're using too much leg drive and it's not a power shrug, reduce the weight and build back up, or switch to a different exercise. A good standard to build up to is 15 reps with anywhere from 200 to 350 pounds. Kind of a big range, I know, but if you get somewhere in there, you'll build pretty good traps. If you do some type of stretch training, like farmer's walks, you can replace one of the shrug days with that. Neck training should be around 2 times per week as well. Everything I said here is good advice, but if you don't have a basic level of strength, it's unnecessary. Get a bare minimum of 3 plates on the deadlift before you focus on this. But Paolo, I have weak and small traps. You don't. You have weak everything. You'd be better off spending more time doing deadlifts and rows than you would be doing shrugs. I don't work on my traps anymore, but they've still grown over the last 2 years just from all my other training. So if you want bare minimum steady eddy growth, make sure you train deadlifts and rows. If you want faster trap gains, add some shrugs. If you want to get the maximum yoke, add neck training on top of that, maybe some farmer's walks. At one point, I was at the maximum, but now I'm content to do all my other training and just let my traps passively grow.